Shades of Green radio show simulcast on KDWN 720 AM and 101.5 FM here in Las Vegas. The show is produced by Green Alliance, and I'm your host, Paul Ira. We have in studio Marie Steele from e-centricity LLP. Good morning, Marie.
Good morning.
And Stan Hannell.
Good morning.
Mr. EV himself. So we've covered a few topics here. I want to ask you a question about ACES. What's ACES stand for?
ACES stands for Autonomous, Connected, Electric, and Shared.
That kind of tells the story right there, doesn't it, about where we want to go.
The future of mobility, my friend.
The future of mobility, our
mobility.
friends. So last week, all of us, I think, were lucky enough to attend the Consumer Electronics Show here in Las Vegas, the largest show on earth, as the old Barnum and Bailey used to say. Greatest show on earth, and it is. And there's no way in even 7 days you could get around to all just the areas to see them, much less every booth, like 4,400 booths. One of the things that stood out for me was the autonomous vehicles and how much of it there was. And the talk that we don't do that much of it yet, this is kind of futuristic, and I kept saying, no, we're already doing that here in Nevada. So tell us a little about that and what you saw at CES, Marie.
I mean, I think what was fascinating and great to see the ever-growing presence of the automotive sector at CES, you know, whether it's the connected vehicles or the autonomous projects. And you are very, very correct. Nevada is a test bed for autonomous deployment because we have had great policy put forth. For that, we've got the downtown connector in Las Vegas. We have the first autonomous shuttle deployed in the United States.
I was going to say, that wasn't just because we're a desert and you can run around cars in the desert and no one's going to get hit. We actually have them in town running around, don't we?
We have in town, but those are, you know, as we talk about a policy report, those are strategic decisions the state has made to advance autonomous and advanced mobility solutions, to bring new companies to the state to deploy these technologies for the mobility solutions of the future. The RTC also just got another grant for another autonomous connector, I believe, in the medical district. And RTC of Washoe County actually has an autonomous program with their Proterra electric bus to start to think of the future of autonomous transit buses as well, and that's a partnership with UNR. So there's a lot of activity moving around. Those are just a few of them. So when you think of autonomous, you also should think of electric. These new advanced mobility solutions are going to be overwhelmingly electric. Right. So as these strategies, they're moving together. And we need to make sure that we're planning for them together.
Yeah. And the reason for that is electric. If everything's electric, then all the systems respond and integrate together much better than trying to electronically control a throttle or that sort of thing, a mechanical throttle. So if you have something that's electric, the response is in milliseconds as compared to maybe...
right. And we also have not just autonomous, we have great connected pilots that are happening inside of the state where your car is connected to the... gosh, now I can't think of it, the signal, and it'll count down for you.
Oh,
so
the traffic signal.
The
right.
traffic
yes.
signal. So
right.
RTC of Southern Nevada, their FAST system has the ability to deploy technology much quicker than, say, other metropolitan planning organizations in the country by the way that they're set up. Yeah. So as we move forward with this advanced mobility, there are many solutions that will be electric that are exciting. When we think of shared, the Ubers and the Lyfts of the world, they're likely going electric. That's their plan, and to be powered by renewable energy. You know, it's really this huge opportunity to grow our renewable energy sector with transportation.
Yeah, and Lyft has been working with Aptiv out here. There's
yes, sir. That's
project.
Another one. I just
right.
said only a couple of them.
Yeah, that's right. That's amazing. And that actually started last year, just after CES, I think. And there's about 20 sites where you can hail a Lyft autonomous vehicle. A person shows up behind the wheel, but the car is actually doing the driving. And you just hop in after you've been picked up from Lyft, and you go to one of these locations on the strip. Yeah, it's amazing.
But back to your original question that I just completely bifurcated. CES and the OEMs, the auto manufacturers, I think what not everybody realizes is global policy. And so there are countries with major market share that are banning fossil fuels in the near future or thinking about it. So when we think of electric may or may not be happening, it may happen in the future, it's advancing quickly. And so when you see at CES and not at CES, major manufacturers announcing that they're either going all electric with every model or that they'll have a majority of their models being electric soon or in the very near future, Nevada needs to be ready to embrace that into our grid and use it for our benefit, because the transportation sector is changing ever so quickly
Rapidly.
based upon global policy.
Right. So even company names like Cadillac, Stan
Right, that
mentioned
was-
this week,
Yeah.
Cadillac wants to go all electric, so all their vehicles be electric. That's
Over time, yeah.
that's a
it'll take
pretty
while.
fast advancing concept. So macro trends. Did we talk about that, or you want to touch on that?
So light duty vehicles are going electric. So the personal ones that you're choosing, that's coming on very, very rapidly. Transit, so public transit buses, the cost of those have come down that they're almost on price parity with fossil fuel transit buses. RTC of Washoe County is already committed to go 100% electric.
Nice.
School buses, that's the next big market, is electric school buses. They actually have a interesting business model to become resources because they are parked when we need them during the sun. So there's something called vehicle to grid. So Ubers and Lyfts of the world, they're going to go autonomous and electric. That's their next frontier is the strategy. So when you think about how you're going to move with microtransit and shared vehicles, another big macro trend is ownership of vehicles is going to decrease significantly. So
Shared community resources, where you have a
Yeah.
community with shared vehicles and you don't own a vehicle, you just go use one when you need it, and so use your credit card
Right.
to pay for it or whatever.
So the way that we think about planning and streets and complete streets has to be rethought. Going back to the holistic approach, is the way cities and counties need to plan is going to be different. How our roads and curbside usage and pull-offs for autonomous vehicles, there's a whole new, city planning paradigm that's being embraced as well.
Well, that's part of what's driving cities to the smart city concept. So with all the cameras and information collection, they can use that data, analyze that, and determine what these streets should look like based on traffic patterns. And especially when the new vehicles come out, there'll be new traffic patterns and fewer cars out there, so streets won't have to be as big. And they're probably smaller cars, so they won't have to be as big.
Right.
If you've been to Europe, they're all small cars over there, it seems like. You see a car even the size of mine, which is mid-size, it looks big compared to everything over there. So some of the things we saw, and to help me understand this, we've all seen movies where in the office building, there's this mail robot that's driving around delivering mail. Autonomous vehicles are the same thing, starting and stopping where they're scheduled to start and stop. And they're just doing what they do electronically. And like Stan says, without them being electric, they wouldn't seamlessly integrate as well. But being they're all electric, the automation systems that will control them are all there. So we'll talk some more about electric vehicles and some policy and macro trends when we come back to Shades of Green on KDWN. We'll be right back.